as of late, maybe settle down Stroman and make things happen. They're playing a lot of stationary baseball. And, you know, when you get on base, especially Anthony Volpe, who has the speed, try to put some pressure on the A's defense and get into scoring position. See if you can punch a couple across.
One and one on Wilson. Wilson finally had a hit in the ninth inning yesterday after the Yankees had kept him off the board through his first 7 at-bats, behind 1-2 here. The 1-2. Jonathan Parra behind the plate in his second major league season. Fewer high strikes, fewer inside strikes. Hitter friendly. Lifted in the air into shallow center. The second baseman Peraza back to make the catch. 2 down. Game time weather presented by Bigelow, the official hot tea of the Yankees. It's 88, but it feels like 97. A real summer scorcher.
Yeah, we experienced it out there in photo day.
We did.
Shaking hands with all the fans, the season ticket holders.
You know, it's a really fun thing we get to do because it's very rewarding. You realize, you know, how in tune, which we already know, but Yankees fans are to the broadcast, and really fun to get to interact a little bit. I also think there's something cool about seeing all the guys in full uniform out there meeting everybody.
Well, the game plan for that was try to find someone like a Judge or a Jazz that you just follow right behind and you just miss.
Yeah, they don't care about Jeff Nelson when Aaron Judge is there.
But they didn't come out till late. I didn't see you either, so I had to start on my own.
Oh, no, I was there.
It took me about a half hour to 40 minutes out there.
You're a man of the people, and you're very popular. You could stay in one spot for a long time.
I could have.
Yeah. 3-0 here on Rooker, who's swinging and grounds it to third. Chisholm gobbles it up. An easy 1-2-3 inning for Marcus Stroman.
We are the Wayne PAL from Wayne, New Jersey. Batting first, center fielder Trent Grisham. Batting second, playing right field, Cody Bellinger. Batting third, DH Aaron Judge. Batting fourth, catching Ben Rice. Batting fifth, playing third base, Josh Chisholm Jr. Batting sixth, playing first base, Paul Goldschmidt. Batting seventh, left fielder, Jason Dominguez. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Anthony Volpe. Batting ninth, the second baseman, Oswald Peraza.
Nicely done by the youngsters from Wayne, especially young Landon, who introduced Jazz Chisholm Jr., the son of one of the Yankee production stalwarts, Pete Gurgley. Very good stuff there from those youngsters in Wayne, as Luis Severino is on the mound. His first start back at Yankee Stadium as an opponent. And we'll take a look at the Nissan Pitcher Scouting Report.
Well, you killed one of my keys there, Ryan. The emotions, you wonder how this is going to feel, the reception that he got from the Yankee fans, how he can control those. Ryan just stole that one with the first time that he has pitched as a visitor here at Yankee Stadium. The second time, a little redemption at first start that he's faced his old team back on May 11th. 4 innings, he gave up 8 runs, 9 hits. That was his first ever start.
You know, maybe you need to dive a little deeper on that scouting report if you don't want me to.
There was a lot going on today.
3 of the keys in the first sentence I speak about the pitcher.
I wanted to be Captain Obvious today, so it was like, hey, this is an easy one. Didn't take a lot of work.
Was it an eventful Saturday night for you in the city?
No, I just did that all yesterday morning because I knew we had a lot today.
Yeah, we did. I mean, you had like a 12-minute hit with Nancy Newman on the BP show.
Felt like 40.
Grisham down on strikes. 1 away. Let's take a look at the defense brought to you by your Tri-State Chevy dealers. Soderstrom in left, Clark in center, Butler in right, Max Muncy at third, Jacob Wilson at short, Urias at second. Nick Kurtz had a 3-run homer yesterday at first. McIver behind the plate, and Rooker is the DH. Here's Bellinger swinging through. Bellinger, who's had a productive series and it's been hot over the last 9 games, while most of the Yankee offense has struggled or been a little uneven. Bellinger, 378 batting average over his last 9, a 935 OPS. Tells that straight back, 1 and 2.
Yeah, he had 2 of the 4 hits on Friday, and he had a hit out of the 3 yesterday for the Yankees.
You know, Luis Severino was worried about getting booed, but I didn't hear any boos for Sevy.
I didn't either. And you know what? I forgot to pay attention to see what the reception was going to be like.
You were too dialed into your scouting report and all of its detail.
After you were killing all 3 of them that I had. Just stepped all over me. I got tire marks on my back.
You sure do. Judge on deck. Here's a 3-2 to Bellinger. The numbers have been significantly better on the road this season for Severino compared to home. He's been very outspoken about the difficulties of pitching in Sacramento. And he has a 6.79 home ERA, but a 2.27 on the road this season. As Bellinger flips that over third into shallow left. Muncy lets it drop, and it's going to be a base hit for Bellinger. Looked like Muncy thought Soderstrom was going to make the play, and nobody did, so Bellinger's on with a single.
Well, Muncy was camped. You watch it. 4-seam fastball that got in on Bellinger, and I'm watching Soderstrom right there. He didn't call it at all, and Muncy's thinking that the left fielder's coming in, and he wasn't anywhere close.
And you could see Soderstrom kind of reach out his arms like, why did you just pull off? Here's Aaron Judge after what's officially scored a hit, and Judge takes a sweeper for a strike.
Yeah, I was reading some of Severino's comments about Sacramento as far as being, the locker room out in left center field. During the day games, it's very hot in the hundreds now in the summertime.
That gets by McIver as Bellinger advances to second on a wild pitch.
Yeah, it was a 4-seam fastball. I don't know. That's a little questionable. Maybe the catcher could have caught that.
And he says, my bad. Official score says wild pitch.
Maybe they change that later.
The 1-1. Severino was asked why he's been so much better as a visitor this season, and he said, quote, because we play in a big league stadium on the road, end quote.
Well, there's no third deck there. The ball flies. And we were talking about it yesterday. If you don't throw inside, if you're not pounding the right-handed hitters or left-handed hitters in, and they're getting their arms extended and they get the ball in the air, it's a homer. You just look at, even Sears' splits. a lot of the pitchers, especially their splits at home and road, are much better on the road. A lot of it is, you don't, for a starting pitcher and even a position player, there's not a lot of time in the locker room, but the locker room's right behind the dugout. Sacramento, you got to walk across the field. So once you're in that dugout, you're there for 9 innings. You're not going anywhere.
3-2 here on Judge with first base open. Ben Rice on deck. Giancarlo Stanton getting the day. A 3-2. Swing and a miss. Judge chased outside the zone, and he is down on strikes.
Well, a little extra, 96 miles an hour. I was surprised that he gave in and threw a fastball there. I thought maybe a breaking ball or slider away. Severino's got a good fastball. Actually, the velo this year is down maybe a mile an hour, but the slider, the cutter, still good.
Rice taps that foul. This is the full quote from Severino. It feels like a spring training kind of game every time I pitch and every time other guys pitch. It's the same mentality. We have to go out there and try and do our best. But it's not been great for us about what it's like at Sutter Health Park in Sacramento.
Well, you better get used to it because you have 2 more years there.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you have a big league team playing in a minor league park for 3 seasons.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, besides the fans, when the Yankees were there, they had great crowds. They sold out all 3 games. You don't know what the other crowds are going to be like when other teams come in.
Tapped weekly back to Severino, who will work around the defensive miscue in left. A scoreless first from Sevy and Stroman to the second we go. Let's check out FanDuel's live same-game parlay. All right, Peraza to record a hit. Martian with a ribby. Stroman with 4+ strikeouts. What do you think?
I'm not into this one.
Yeah.
I think the 4 strikeouts.
That's a hard one.
Stroman, that might be a stretch.
Agreed, especially knowing that,
70,
he's
75
probably not
pitches.
going to have a full amount of pitches to work with in his first start back. He had 0 strikeouts in the first, but a very efficient 10-pitch 1-2-3 first. As he just misses there to Kurtz. 1-0.
Well, what's going to be interesting, you had the umpire's scouting report and the hitter-friendly Jonathan Parra. Well, it probably doesn't bode well for Stroman because he has to live on the edges. He needs those corners. The backdoor cutter to lefty or that 2-seamer that he runs in.
That pitch mislocation, but was actually probably a strike. But it's 2-1. Ben Rice behind the plate getting another start at catcher. Aaron Boone really pleased with his receiving skills. That's a high fly ball into right. Bellinger drifts back on the track and makes the catch. 1 down. Max Muncy coming to the plate. Yeah, Aaron Boone talked at length this morning about Ben Rice behind the plate getting this chance today. J.C. Escara just back from paternity leave. Ooh, right off Stroman. Chisholm is not going to have a play, and now the Yankees are going to have to check on their starters. That looked like it caught him pretty flush.
Oh, you're always worried about that knee, that left knee. Let's see where this gets him. Right in that right hamstring. You know, you look at pitching today, Ryan, and the way guys throw, and once they release the ball and their follow through, you get a lot of guys that are falling off to one side or the other. With Stroman, he doesn't have a sharp fall to the first base side, but he really doesn't square up as a fielder. You know, a lot of guys after they finish that or the follow through, they square up, and that's where you see a lot of those good fielding pitchers. You look at Mariano Rivera or Greg Maddux. Those guys are right there. They're positioned as an infielder after they release the ball.
That was 97.2 miles an hour off the bat. And Muncy is on. Here is Soderstrom. Just to go back to that Aaron Boone conversation about Ben Rice, he said, look, so far he's been really good back there. He said his receiving's been excellent. And then he stopped and he said, like, really excellent. And he feels like he's handled the pitch clock aspect of things well. As that is lined into right at Bellinger. 2 down. So he was asked, is this going to be a regular thing? Could Rice catch, say, once a week? And Aaron Boone wouldn't commit to that, but he said, you know, periodically I'm definitely going to get him in there and feel good about it. Rice continues to go through all the different catchers' meetings and preparation, along with Escara and Austin Wells.
Well, it's the third time I've seen him. This is his third start. You know, I think he's been outstanding. He's a really good athlete. And I think he's handled the ball really well. The one thing that you want to see is how the opposing teams are going to attack the base running. Muncy over there at first only has 1 stolen base. I think if you get some speedsters on the bases, they want to see the arm.
Fly ball, shallow right. Bellinger another chance, and that will end the inning. To the bottom of the second we go. So far, so good for Marcus Stroman. Pinstripe Pride brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Today's pictures of Sean and Felicia from Poughkeepsie, New York. And look, Jeff, they met you at a game a few years ago. Yeah, use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and mention yes in pictures you post to social media to reflect your love for the Bronx Bombers. We might spotlight you in a future game.
Yeah, I think it was Old Timers Day when we were doing a signing right out in the hall out here at Yankee Stadium, right in the front. Put the uniform on.
Like we said, man of the people as Chisholm rocks that to right. That's gone. Jazz Chisholm Jr. with his 13th home run of the season as he stays red hot and gives the Yankees a 1-0 lead.
Well, Ryan, we talked about being aggressive early, and that's what they have to do against Severino. He's got good off-speed. Severino does good sweeper that he uses a lot. The cutter, the changeup, and slider. You got to be aggressive on those fastballs.
So a big swing there from Jazz after the Yankees were shut out yesterday. It was Chisholm who got the Yankees started on Friday night.
Well, first pitch, two-seam fastball right out over the middle of the plate. 96 miles an hour from Severino. No doubter. There you see that four-seam fastball, that four-seam grip, supposed to be away. Line drive, 362 into the right field seats.
And Paul Goldschmidt able to work the walk.
Now it got out in a hurry.
Right off the barrel.
3 miles an hour off the bat.
Dominguez tips that foul. I thought it was cool seeing Chisholm the other night, his reaction to being told about that nugget in first 500 games, certain number of homers and steals. Just he, Eric Davis, Alfonso Soriano, the only players to reach those minimums that we mentioned the other night in the first 500 career games. And Jazz lit up talking about it. And he talked about how much he looked up to watching Eric Davis and Alfonso Soriano, how he gotten to meet both of them and develop a little rapport with them, which is the third player to have 89 or more homers, 109 more steals in their first 500 career games.
All three very wiry guys.
Yeah, and Jazz actually said, he said, you know, when I was coming up, those were two guys that I got compared to a lot. Strike three as Dominguez is down looking on a backdoor sweeper.
A little backdoor that caught most of the plate. You see that slider grip or sweeper grip.
Volpe has had 2 walks each of the first 2 games of this series. And that's been a theme in general this season for Volpe, whose offense has objectively improved across the board this season. His walk rate up from 6.5% to over 10%. His chase percentage way down this season from last year. And even if the production overall feels like there's still some untapped potential, he clearly has improved on this end. Sends that into center. Easy for Clark. 2 down. Here's Oswald Peraza. Now one just misses. 1-0. Sevy signed a 3-year, $67 million deal with the A's in December. It's an opt-out after year 2, but it's the largest contract in team history past the 6-year, $66 million extension that Eric Chavez had back in 2004.
So with the comments, you think he's probably opting out after his second year?
May not want to pitch in that ballpark a third year. I think it's going to depend.
Just continue to show that you can pitch on the road?
Probably going to depend on what's out there financially at that point. Also, he is a candidate to, potentially be traded, depending on how the A's want to play, the rest of the season and their future. Because of that road ERA, he absolutely could be attractive to other teams. That's hit hard, foul. 2-2.
No, his stuff's still there. He still has an electric fastball, a lot of movement, even with his four-seamer. Just because of his release point, you're going to get some movement back into a righty, away to a lefty.
And he's still only 31 years old.
He stays healthy. He's got great stuff.
Leaders brought to you by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Here are the numbers we were talking about before. 0-7 with a 6.79 at home. 2-1 with a 2.27 on the road. Just dramatic differences in the average and the homers allowed, everything.
Yeah, 7 homers at home out of the 9 he's given up.
Squibbed right back to Severino, and that will end the inning. But the Yankees get on the board thanks to Jazz Chisholm Jr. staying dialed in, finding the fortune right again, and making that trip around the bases. Stream MLB Network 24/7 for the entire season. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Top of the third inning, Marcus Stroman very efficient, very effective through 2 in his first start back. Now Stroman spoke the Yankee clubhouse yesterday, was asked about the struggles in the rehab assignments, pitched to a near 7 ERA, and he talked about how he needs the competition up here to really feel the intensity. And so for him, it was more about getting the work in and feeling good. Which Aaron Boone also said, hey, when you get to a third rehab assignment in AA for a long-time veteran, sometimes it's just tough to be totally dialed in.
Yeah, I don't buy the rehab numbers. I think that, you know, for a major league player to go down to the minor leagues, whether it's a position player or a pitcher, you're just trying to get your work in.
Yeah.
You know, minor league hitters against a Stroman or someone going down at the big league level, they get up for those games. They're like, okay, you got a big league guy come up. Not very many have success.
Yeah.
That come down. The intensity's not there. The adrenaline's not there. You're not playing in front of a big crowd like here at Yankee Stadium. So, you know, I really don't worry about escalated numbers from players.
McIver held up, works the leadoff walk here in the third.
And the only thing you have to do as a big league player is you got to buy the spreads.
That's
Make
right.
Sure you spend some money on the minor league guys.
Sometimes there have to be some pretty serious limitations in the cities you're in, though, when you're buying those spreads, right?
Clubhouse guy, they'd probably help you out a little bit.
Yeah, they'll tell you where to go. Oh, and 2 on Clark.
6 of 9 first pitch strikes. That was a good sinker right there in on a righty. Yeah, the A's are a very aggressive hitting team. You have someone like Stroman, and you know, guys do a great job of giving the umpire scouting report. The opposing team does the same thing. You're thinking, hey, you know, let's be a little bit more patient to see if you can get that pitch count up and you can get him out of there.
Clark went around. First strikeout for Stroman, 1 down.
A good slider, just expanding the zone, and that's what Stroman's going to do. If you're going to have an aggressive hitting team, you can take advantage of that. You don't have to throw a lot of strikes. That ball was about a foot outside and got a swing.
Just missed there with a cutter, 1-0. Butler, a couple of walks yesterday. Hit hard and into right field, a base hit. McIver going to stop at second as Bellinger rifles it in. First chance with a runner in scoring position for Oakland as they have first and second, 1 out.
Well, fastball right down the middle of the plate, and you see the two-seamer how it came. It was started on the inside half and came right out over the middle.
And here is Wilson, who the Yankees have held in check in this series. .339 hitter. Takes outside, 1-0. Wilson has slumped a bit over the last couple of weeks, but still second in the majors in batting average and hits, behind only Aaron Judge.
You know, I was watching, he had an interview on the network, and they was talking about his stance and where he starts, how he opens up, and how he gradually starts moving into a squared position. And it says it's all a timing mechanism. As soon as a pitcher starts lifting his leg, he'll go to that second spot, and then he'll finish off once he starts getting up to that release point. And he said he's always geared for the fastball.
Fouls that off himself. 2-2. And he's in some pain. He had a really rough luck injury in the game where he got his first big league hit last year. Ooh, and that hit him right around the knee. Got his first big league hit, singled his first big league at bat, scored from second on a Lawrence Butler triple, but he strained his left hamstring coming around third and then was out for over a month right after his first big league at bat. That was last season.
Oh, that was a good pitch right there by Stroman. Good two-seam fastball. There's no way Wilson could do anything with that. A lot of times when hitters foul pitches off themselves, you go right back in there. But you can throw that slider. This is a good opportunity here. A 2-2 pitch, good slider off the plate.
Yankees leading 1-0. Top of the third, 2 on, 1 out. Here's the 2-2. You mentioned that stance.
Yeah.
Wilson. It was a combination of him watching Miguel Cabrera, Mike Trout, and Albert Pujols. And that was who his father, Jack Wilson, who was a terrific defensive player, wanted him to focus on for a swing. And they literally tried to just kind of Voltron all three swings into one and create his.
And you can see here how with 2 strikes he doesn't have that, I would call it a 3-step approach or stance or getting ready to swing the bat. He's not as open with 2 strikes.
We mentioned that Jeff passed an article about him the other day. It's really worth reading. Here's the 3-2. Grounded to third. Chisholm going to step on the bag. Across in time for the double play. Nicely done by Jazz Chisholm Jr. and Marcus Stroman, who applauds the effort. Get to the bag in time and make the throw across. Is brought to you in part by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. By Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. And by Optimum Fiber. Get Optimum, the fastest fiber internet. Don't take slow for an answer. As Luis Severino, bottom of the third, facing Trent Grisham, deals a strike. It'll be Grisham, Bellinger, and Judge. Yankees a 1-0 lead on the Jazz Chisholm Jr. home run as Grisham pops it up. Sky high. Shallow right. Urias converges with Butler and it drops. Second pop-up that is dropped already in the A's outfield. It's only the third inning.
Oh, great hustle by Trent Grisham getting to second on that play. You watch, it's tough with the sun. Urias doesn't have shades, and this is the right fielder's ball. Butler coming in. Anytime an outfielder's coming in on a play, you got to give way. Maybe Urias, because of the crowd, play a big part of him not hearing Butler coming and calling for the ball. Great job by Trent Grisham to get to second.
Here's Bellinger. So we saw the reaction there from Butler. We saw in left field Muncy give way to Soderstrom, but it looked like Soderstrom wasn't calling it, and Muncy was camped under and it just dropped. And in this case, looked like Urias needed to give way to Butler, but perhaps Butler didn't call for it.
And they wound up giving the error on the second baseman, Urias.
Yeah, they do.
Surprised, because that hit Butler in the glove.
And you know what? We're being told he was calling for it, Butler, that is. So Urias needed to back away.
Hasta la vista.
That's right. Two and one on Bellinger. Bellinger rips that into right field. Butler over, makes the catch. Grisham went halfway, and so does not tag as he had to get back.
Now with Grisham there, a little surprised that he didn't go back and at least try to attempt to tag up. I'm not saying he would have made it or maybe even gone, but by going halfway, you're scoring with a double anyway.
And this is the play you could see Butler mouth moving, saying, I got it, I got it. I agree with you, Jeff. I'm a little surprised that Grisham didn't think about tagging there.
I mean, Butler's got a really good arm.
He does.
He wasn't in deep right field, but going towards the wall.
Instead, Grisham went halfway, had to get back. Here's Judge, 1-0, struck out his first time.
Well, there's a fly ball, and Butler's going towards the right field wall. You got to get back to the bag. I know Butler has a good arm, but at least get back to the bag and make a decision there instead of going halfway. You're scoring if it gets down the line anyway from second. You got to try to put pressure as much as you can on those A's defense, because they're not a great defensive team, as we already seen here early in the game.
2-1 on Judge with first base open. And again, Judge chases that high fastball, got it up to 99 that time from Severino. Then Rice on deck. Judge had looked like he had come out of that little mini slump during the losing streak, but if you look at the broader last 15 games now, just 182 batting average, 690 OPS. First period of struggle for Judge after his historic start. 3-2 now on the Yankee captain. And you knew that was going to happen at some point, because you're not going to hover around 400 forever.
Well, Severino got him in a 3-2 count the last at bat on a fastball up.
3-2. Went with a fastball up again, and Judge was able to get to it, foul it away at 98. When he swung through was 96 in the first.
Let's see if he goes off speed here.
The 3-2 is outside. Ball 4, missed with a changeup, so Judge walks. And the Yankees with first and second, one out for Ben Rice.
A lot of pitches here for Severino through the first 2 and a third. 55. He had 21 pitches in both the first and the second to get through those. So a lot of tough innings.
Rice grounded out to Severino his first time up. What a nice luxury for Aaron Boone and the Yankees now to have this level of comfort with Rice catching as well, as they put together the Rubik's Cube of their lineup on a game-by-game basis. One. That misses down and in. 2-1. Look out. Rice gets drilled on a sweeper, and the bases are now loaded with one down.
Well, Severino really yanked this slider. That's just a heat seeker right off of the foot, that left foot, the inside. There's nothing you can do. You can't even get out of the way of that pitch.
And that sets the stage for Jazz Chisholm Jr., who has provided the only run of the game thus far with a solo homer in the second. By the way, that's the 8th hit by pitch for Rice, which is tied for 4th in the American League. Chisholm with 5 career grand slams, a .990 OPS in his career batting with bases loaded. Trying to give the Yankees a little cushion. This is something even Aaron Boone talked about yesterday, the struggles with runners in scoring position during this recent stretch offensively. Here's a golden opportunity early in this game. Smoked foul.
Well, he hit a first pitch, 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball out. This time he got a first pitch slider that stayed on the inner half. They really didn't do anything.
Grisham at third, Judge at second, Rice at first. Inning started with an E4 on a ball that should have been caught in shallow right. 1-1. Drilled into right center field. That's going to get down. Clark over to cut it off. He cannot. 2 runs will score. Rice is going to score. Chisholm into third with a bases clearing triple. It's 4-0 Yankees.
Well, it's a changeup, and you watch Clark. It gets by him underneath his glove. This is going to allow Rice to score from first. It was a changeup that Jazz hit that right center field gap. Rice would have stayed at third if Clark would have come up with this. You wonder if they're going to give an error to Clark or if this is a straight triple.
It's a straight triple. And 3 ribbies for Chisholm, who now has the 2 toughest legs of the cycle in his bag with a homer and a triple already. Infield in for Goldschmidt, who snapped an 0 for 20 yesterday with a single. Walked his first time up today. A huge hit there from Chisholm as the Yankees finally get a big blow with runners in scoring position. A 2-0. And it's 3-0 on Goldschmidt.
Well, Severino is just not been able to get into a rhythm, even though he didn't give up but 1 run in those first 2 innings. The command of the fastball is all over the place. A lot of stressful pitches. 65 pitches and only has 1 out here in the 3rd.
And Goldschmidt works a walk.
There's a changeup up, and when that doesn't have that sink down and away, it's a BP fastball, and Jazz was all over it, thinking 3 the whole way. There's that ball, just gets under the glove. And that's a ball that you probably should be cutting off.
Here's Dominguez with 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Honestly, off the bat, I thought it was incredible that Clark even got that close to it because it was hit so hard into the gap by Chisholm.
Well, there's that circle change. You see the 2 fingers, middle finger and ring finger on those 2 seams. That gets the ball to sink. And it didn't do much but go across the zone and into that bat path of Jazz Chisholm. A little interesting now. You have Goldschmidt over at first, a 1st and 3rd situation. He faked going that first time. And Severino in really struggling this inning, struggling in his game, really doesn't pay attention to the runners. Might be able to get another man in scoring position here.
Hey, his bullpen getting going. 1 and 2 on Dominguez. You know, before the Chisholm triple there, it was an E4, a walk, and a hit batter that had loaded the bases. Chisholm sends them all home. The 1-2. Dominguez fouls that away. And high and in. Gets by McIver. Chisholm's going to come home and score on the wild pitch. As Goldschmidt advances to 2nd, and it is 5-0 Yankees.
No, this is the over the head of Dominguez. Oof, wow, watch out. No chance for McIver, the catcher, to come up with this one.
That was about as close as it gets.
Exactly.
So a wild pitch from Severino. It's 5-0. As that misses and the count is full on the Martian. Oof.
Now this might be Severino's last hitter.
3-2. Dominguez skies that down the right field line. Foul. And not an ideal return thus far for Luis Severino. His first start back at Yankee Stadium as an opponent.
Well, he's definitely a little amped up going into this game. You saw the velocity. It's usually around 95 to 96. He's touched 99. But just maybe the emotions.
Flicked behind 2nd into shallow center. These balls have been an issue today as Wilson makes the catch for the 2nd out. We saw those numbers. Severino also struggled when he faced the Yankees in Sacramento back in May, his first start against them as an opponent.
Well, that start he only walked 1 and he struck out 2, and his command was a little bit better, but it was out over the middle of the plate, and the Yankees really took advantage of a lot of pitches down the middle. He threw 97 pitches in his last outing.
High and in, 1-1. 76 pitches now for Volpe fights that off. One hops to second. Urias able to make the play to end the inning, but the Yankees put up a crooked number thanks to Jazz Chisholm Jr. Bases were loaded, not anymore. Ripped into the gap. All three score, and a triple for Jazz, a 5-0 lead for the Yanks. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Delta, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Delta, keep climbing. The Yankees with a 5-0 lead in the top of the fourth. Jazz Chisholm Jr. with 4 of the 5 runs via RBI, scored the 5th run on a wild pitch from Luis Severino. He's homered and tripled Chisholm.
Well, it all started because of that play in right field.
Yeah.
This ball by Butler and Urias.
I know. What should have been a pop out from Trent Grisham. One and two. Meanwhile, Stroman's looked really good through the first 3 innings.
He has really good movement on that 2-seam fastball, especially in on righties. That was a nasty pitch right there to Rooker. When you don't have patient teams against Stroman and you have an aggressive team like the A's are, you could really take advantage of that. You live on the edges anyway, you just expand right away. And they wind up swinging at some bad balls.
Chisholm stays down, 1 away. Here's big Nick Kurtz. 3-run homer yesterday. You know what's amazing? He came into this season, Kurtz, as the 34th ranked prospect on Baseball America's top 100 prospect list. It's just hard to imagine 33 guys being in front of him.
I would agree. I mean, he's a big kid, 6'5".
Just the 3rd A's rookie ever with 11 homers in a 22-game span. The others, great players, Mark McGwire and Matt Olson. Skies that into left. Dominguez battling the sun, makes the catch. 2 down.
I'd like to see the list of the other 33 players.
And we'll get that for you. I was talking with Jason about this very thing today.
And
dealing with the sun in left field on these kind of days. He said there are times it can be a little tough, but he's felt okay with it. It hasn't been too intimidating.
Well, you can see with the sunglasses, it's still tough to catch.
Yeah. But we know, forever that, left field on a day like today has been talked about as
a challenge.
Difficult it gets. Yeah. To the eye, I'm sure our fans would agree. You can see the improvement from Dominguez out in left field over the last couple of months, and certainly from last season as well. But even metrically, if you look at him, through May and outs above average, he was a -6, which is not a good number. In June, he's a +1. So the metrics back up what the eye test is showing with Dominguez and his comfort and growth out there in left field.
Well, he works really hard at it, and that's what you have to do. If you're going to be a good corner outfielder, this is a guy that plays usually in the minor leagues who's playing center field. You play the corner outfield spots on occasion. It's tough to play left and right just because of the way the ball tails off of different hitters. You got to work at it. He's been putting in the work, and it's starting to show.
Oh, and 2 now on Soderstrom. Volpe shaded up the middle. The 0-2. Blocked nicely by Ben Rice.
A real nice block. That ball was in the dirt. That was a changeup. You see sitting up on the outside corner, and he's got to go back in, and that's a tough play when you're sitting on one knee.
Stop. Yeah. I thought Aaron Boone had an interesting way of putting it. He said, I haven't really noticed him back there, which he said, I mean that in a great way.
You see a lot of catchers on that play. They'll backhand it.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to do what he did, get in front of it and take it off your body. And that's exactly when you're catching on and you're not on one knee. It's a little bit easier to play because you can get out there and keep that ball in front of you like he did. But catching on one knee, that's tough to do what he just did.
Right to Goldschmidt. He steps on the bag and ends the inning. Marcus Stroman is through 4 shutout innings. Yankees leading 5-0.
Kuyver right there behind the plate for the A's for the second game this series. Prior to getting drafted in 2018, he was at the University of Washington. He was a Husky at the same time. Yankees catching coordinator Tanner Swanson was a coach there. When I spoke to Tanner about it a couple days ago, he said it is not surprising that he made it to the big leagues. He was just relentless. He was a guy that loved to practice, would do anything to get an edge out there. He always had this unbelievable belief in himself that he was going to make it, and you saw the picture from the first game of this series. How cool is that? He got to congratulate him in person on getting to the bigs.
Oh, that's awesome, Meredith. Love stories like that.
Yeah, UW, University of Washington.
That's right.
Tanner's dad had a pretty famous bar out in Seattle called Swannie's. That is right by the Kingdome, and a lot of people used to go there before the game and even after. They had a comedy club that was in the basement.
Really?
Yeah, it was a good place.
Did you frequent it?
I went there a few times.
Okay,
I never
nice.
went to the comedy club, but I went to Swannie's.
Severino is still out there in the bottom of the fourth. Pitch count extraordinarily high, 81 pitches. Yankees have gotten a solo home run and a 3-run triple from Jazz Chisholm Jr. The other run coming via a wild pitch from Severino, and it's 5-0 Yanks. And meanwhile, the reverse side of things, Marcus Stroman has looked really good.
He has, and that's nice to see. And you got a nice comfortable lead, a 5-0 lead.
Looped into left. Soderstrom able to fight the sun and make the catch.
Because you really didn't know what Stroman was going to give you as far as pitch count. I mean, he's been very efficient.
Yeah.
Through the first 4 innings. You didn't know how much you're going to have to go to that Yankee bullpen today. Well, you better eat that.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be soup.
That's some good soft serve. That's something that's just sneaky wonderful about Yankee Stadium. The soft serve at the press box. Shep's.
Good.
Bob Shepard's place. You never had the soft serve here?
I have not.
What? Grisham jolts that into center. Clark, shading his eyes, makes the catch on the lip of the track. I mean, you're a man who partakes in dessert,
yes,
so I'm surprised that you.
Not often, but I really didn't know.
Now, do you think you might give it a try today?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay, good. You give us your scouting report afterwards, okay?
Love soft serve.
Yeah. Now, what do we think that is? A milkshake or a coffee?
Like one of those iced
Fribbles?
coffee things, or what is it called?
I went back to the days of Friendlies. You ever have a Fribble at Friendlies?
No.
Fribbles have such a cult following that I guarantee you,
A fripple.
I'm getting people adding me right now about it. Yep, see? Audrey, our stage manager, knows what the Fribble's about. You ever used to go to Friendlies back in the day?
I have, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember seeing a fripple on the.
No, it's with a B. A Fribble.
Fripple.
Fribble.
Oh, okay. Fribble.
1-2 here on Bellinger. A Fribble's like an ice creamy milkshake type thing that Friendlies used to do. As Bellinger rips that into right field, Butler back at the wall, and it lands off the wall as Bellinger goes into second with a double. Looked like Butler had it lined up and could not haul it in.
He just didn't get back to the wall enough. I think he thought he was running out of room. He gets off his, looks like it might have tipped his glove.
Bellinger with a rocket and a double, his second hit of the game. And here's Judge. Big swing there from Judge. Fouled it straight back. He has just missed a couple of those fastballs that for the most part this season he has mashed.
No, and Severino's giving him a lot of four-seamers upstairs around the letter high.
Well, got to that one, deep to left field, and the judge has spoken. Home run number 29 for Aaron Judge. And it's all Yankees in the Bronx, 7-0.
Well, Aaron Judge hitless in his first two games versus the A's and 0 for 1 in today's game. Well, he made up for that quickly. Now it's a slider and it's a hanger. There you see it was supposed to be away. Just hangs out over the middle of the plate and forget about it. That was crushed. .402 feet. There you see that ball was supposed to be away. I call that a cement mixer there, Ryan. It just spins and says, hit me.
Tagging one off his former teammate, Luis Severino. A majestic blast from Judge. Now 29 homers, 65 runs batted in.
Aaron Judge would like a triple right now.
See, you start
AKA
friendlies
shake.
and good things happen. Can't tell you how many messages I've gotten since then. By the way, the Yankees have done a really good job capitalizing on some shaky A's defense all afternoon as Rice gets hit with the pitch for a second time.
Another slider off the foot. They're going to see where this, another sweeper. There you see Severino yanking that pitch. Got him up, this time off maybe the front foot.
And that is finally going to end the afternoon for Luis Severino. Not the return to the stadium he would have hoped for, as he has yielded 7 runs already. The latest off the bat of the Yankee captain. 400 plus feet later, it's a Sunday souvenir. Severino departs, the Yankees leading 7-0. State of mind at Yankee Stadium on Friday, July 11th, when the Yankees take on the Cubs. It's Billy Joel bobblehead night, and the first 18,000 guests in attendance will receive a special Billy Joel Yankees bobblehead. Tickets are going fast, so get yours today at Yankees.com. Hogan Harris, the new pitcher for the A's. Last appearance was Tuesday. The lefty will face Jazz Chisholm Jr. Jazz has already homered and tripled. He has 4 ribbies, a couple of runs scored. And we are just in the 4th inning. And Rice off first. Jazz has been piping hot since coming off the IL.
Yeah, seeing the ball well. That was a big curveball from Harris that he laid off. He'll throw a curve, change up that fastball, 92 to 94.
Big rip there. 2-1. And it's 3-1 on Jazz. Yankees offense breaking out today. That is a strike on the outside corner, and it's 3-2.
That was a good pitch. Caught the outside edge.
Just nipped the corner. Yeah. Caught some box. Three-two. And there's ball 4 as Jazz works the walk. The optimum don't take slow for an answer replay. We've seen Jazz do it with the bat. He's also done it with the glove today.
Yeah, this was an outstanding play. This was in the 3rd inning when the A's had 1st and 2nd. Perfect ground ball. Steps on the bag, throws it across.
One and 0 on Goldschmidt, who has walked twice. Snapped an 0 for 20 yesterday with a single. It's here with 1st and 2nd, 2 out. Goldschmidt has really raked against lefties this season. He's hit better than 400. A hit on this lefty, 2-0. There's a strike.
Well, he snapped out of that 0 for 20 slump yesterday and a couple walks today, so maybe he's seeing the ball a little bit better. He was hitting 342, 345 for a while. $148 over the last 28 games.
Saw those lefty-righty splits for Goldschmidt. 2 on, 2 out. Here comes the 2-2. Goldschmidt drills that into center field, just right at Clark for the final out of the inning. But the Yankees add a couple more, courtesy of their captain. Hitless so far in the series. Hitless no longer. Launch number 29 gives the Yankees a 7-0 lead. Today's injury report brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Jonathan Loaisiga allowed 3 runs Tuesday at the Reds when the Yankees had a 3-0 lead. He has not pitched since due to illness. Meredith, what is the latest on J-Lo?
Well, Ryan, he seems to be feeling much better. He was actually out there greeting some fans during picture day. He came through the dugout. I asked how he was, gave me the thumbs up. So Loaisiga seems like he should be good to go today, Ryan.
All right, good. Glad he's feeling better and glad he's available. Here is Urias. It's Marcus Stroman working with a cushiony lead. Stroman's been very efficient today, just 55 pitches thus far. Has yielded a couple of singles, a couple of walks. That's it in his return from missing 2.5 months. I thought it was interesting too when he was talking about his knee yesterday. He said, it's not like it's completely healed or he's never going to feel it again. It's just he feels like they've come up with a good way to manage it, to care for it, so that it's not debilitating, so that he knows how to handle it in the days after he pitches.
And that's going to be the key the day after. As he goes on in this game, it's that left knee. So it's that leg kick knee. It's the knee you land on. So a lot of weight on that knee. It's going to blow up a little bit during the game. And it's that next day, tomorrow, and how they manage it, how they get that swelling out of there so he can get ready for his next start.
Chop to third. Chisholm backs up beautifully. That is a nice play from Chisholm and Goldschmidt, 1 down. How about what you've seen from Stroman so far today?
Well, he's had a really good two-seam fastball. There's that two-seam fastball away. He's throwing a change-up. He's starting to hit his spots. He's not getting a lot on the corners because the umpires are hitter-friendly umpires, not getting it. He's got a really good defense. There's that slider. You expand the zone. You got an aggressive hitting team with the A's, and he's really taking advantage of it. They're not letting him get into deep counts. They're swinging at some pitches off the plate, even in on righties.
0-1.
He's done a great job of throwing up a 0. Once the Yankees score, he's throwing up a goose egg.
Yeah.
In that top half for the A's.
Well, and encouraging too. I mean, the Yankee rotation has been such an incredible strength throughout the course of the entire season, even more so over the last few weeks. But to be able to throw a Stroman in the mix now, especially right after Yarborough goes down, and have him pitch like this, very encouraging. Pop foul.
And it's encouraging. You look, 5 innings, 63 pitches. That's what he threw, 63 pitches in his rehab. He might be able to get another inning out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You notice the Game of Thrones music right there from
I'm like
it's Alstrom on the organ today, but I think it is, and he has been bringing it this series.
Remember how I didn't know what fortnight was besides 2 weeks if you're going to spend in England?
Right. It's been a fortnight.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never seen Game of Thrones either.
Oh, I feel like that. Are you a show guy at all?
Yes, I watch movies. I just don't. It's a gladiator thing, right?
No, not exactly. It's
when brother and sisters are having babies and stuff together. Isn't that the Game of Thrones, that thing?
I mean, that's one storyline of Game of Thrones.
I don't need to see that.
I understand why that would be a turnoff to you, but I think you would really love the show.
Sounds like the family tree in that movie. It doesn't branch out. It just goes straight up if your relatives are having kids together. Not something I might be interested in.
3-2 here on McIver. Another 3-2 coming. Fouled away. Good battle here from McIver. Denzel Clark on deck. Peraza was just barely back to his position at second base when Stroman was already delivering that pitch. Stroman not an especially quick worker either. Peraza had range far on the foul ball. Another 3-2 coming. Driven in the air to left field and deep. Dominguez back, and we'll watch it fly. A solo home run for Willie McIver, his second of the season, and it's a 7-1 game.
A 10-pitch at bat to McIver, and this is just a fastball inside. He just pulls the hands in and drops the head. 366 feet for his second home run.
Here's Denzel Clark. Stroman at 71 pitches.
Now, four-seam fastball just came out over the middle of the plate there. You see a good swing by McIver.
And there is the no longer ill Jonathan Loaizaga. Rolled to short. Volpe. 2 down. This bullpen budget brought to you by Citizens. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Well, yesterday, Yankees had Ian Hamilton, and then Winans, who got sent out for Stroman. So they have a well-rested pen here. You saw Williams, Weaver, and the high leverage arms that went on Friday, but all manageable pitch counts and all after an off day.
Well, you'd love to see Stroman get through this inning, and then you can go into that bullpen. 73 pitches, and you'd love to keep the lead. That way you're not going to have to use Weaver and Williams. Got a big series against the Blue Jays coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, 4 games up in Toronto. Butler loops that to left. Dominguez there. That's 5 really strong innings for Marcus Stroman in his return from the IL. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Ford stores. Ford is proud to be the official SUV of the Yankees, and by Delta, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Delta, keep climbing. I've climbed my way to being a million-miler on Delta.
Have you?
I love Delta.
I do too.
I'm not a tattoo guy. I don't think I'll ever get a tattoo. But if I did, Delta would be one of the potential options in the running for me.
They would probably love that. Great advertisement. Where are you putting it?
Would they pay me for that? It's a good question. Meanwhile, between innings, Marcus Stroman, day done, chatting through things. After a really strong outing, Dominguez down on strikes. So Preston Claiborne, the assistant pitching coach, and Aaron Boone in that conversation with Marcus Stroman.
I thought he did a great job. You know, you had the luxury of a lead, the 7-1 lead. He just made that one mistake to McIver, but other than that, the two-seam fastball was really good. He expanded the zone, took advantage of a very aggressive team in the A's.
0-2 on Volpe. That's topped fair down the right field line. And Anthony Volpe going to park it right there. He's a one-out single.
Well, Kurt's playing off the line. There you see a fastball away. Volpe just goes the other way. Nice job by Butler. He's got a great arm.
Here's Peraza. A ground out and a fly out today. Yankee offense has broken out with 7 runs after getting shut out yesterday. Yankees have been shut out just 2 times through May, 5 times here in June. But a big performance from the offense thus far this afternoon. JT Brubaker throwing in the Yankee pen. That is chopped to third. Muncy backs up, fires across just in time to get Peraza as Volpe advances to second, 2 down. Peraza's not so sure. Oof. That is close.
They're going to look at it. Aaron Boone just mentioned to the umpires to take a look at it. I don't know if it gets overturned. The original call is out.
He looks safe.
New York is challenging the call at first base.
Oh, it's close. That might be one where you're just going to stick with whatever the original call was. Also, it just feels like, in general, there's a reluctance to overcall things as this challenge replay is brought to you by Citizens Made Ready. So is there enough here to overturn it? Is that foot on the bag, that one frame prior? If it is, he's safe, right? It's close.
That's going to be close. It might not be enough to overturn. It's great hustle by both Peraza and then Volpe getting the second.
Let's see. Here's a blown up version of it. It feels like he is safe by a hair. I'm not sure it's enough to overturn the call on the field.
And remember, it doesn't have to get in the back of the glove. It's just like in the cylinder of the glove, which it makes zero sense to me. But you know, it should be in the back of the glove. In the back of the glove, it's a lot closer play. Maybe it gets overturned.
Yeah.
taking a long time with this, though. You see, all it has to do is just get right there. I mean, not even the back, so it's going to be tough.
I mean, usually when there's this level of time allocated to assessing, the call is going to stand. When it looks that close, but we'll see whether or not it does.
After review, the call on the field stands. The runner is out. New York has lost the challenge.
There you go. So not evidence enough to confirm the call, but also not enough to overturn it. Thus, the call stands.
You know, it used to be when the ball hits the back of the glove, that was considered a catch, and it just changed over the last few years that all it has to do is get into that cylinder of the glove and not in the back of it. I don't get it.
Yeah. Ball 1 to Grisham. Two 2-0 on Grisham. Volpe taking off for third, and he's in there. You're going to try and take third with 2 out. Better be a sure thing, and for Volpe it was.
No, he had a huge jump at second. Watch this jump, and as soon as Harris turns his head, he's really slow to the plate, and that throw was to the foul side of third base. No shot at getting him.
Three and 1 on Grisham. By the way, that Peraza dash down to first, his sprint speed was 30.4 feet per second. That is elite, and it was his fastest of the season. Nearly turned it into a hit. 3-1 is fouled back by Grisham. Here was the sprint.
Yeah, he's getting down the line. He's sniffing hit all the way.
Here's the 3-2. There is ball 4. So Grisham is on. A lot of Yankee traffic on the bases today. Fifth walk from the Yankee offense. They have 2 hit by pitches, 6 hits, 7 runs. Homers from Chisholm and Judge. Also a 3-run triple from Chisholm. Here's Bellinger. Bellinger absolutely smashes that to right. Goodbye. A 3-run homer for Cody Bellinger. And the Yankees are pouring on the sauce. It's 10-1.
Now, you talked about Goldschmidt's numbers against lefties. Well, Bellinger has been crushing the left-handed pitching. You get a little high five to the fans over there.
Bellissimo indeed.
Well, first pitch fastball after a mound visit, after a walk. Number 11 on the year. Big 3-run homer.
Third hit of the day for Bellinger. That ends the day for Harris. The Yankees have put up a 10 spot. Fist bumps for everybody. Bottom of the 5th. New pitcher in. It's Elvis Alvarado. Judge up. Homered his last time. And takes a 90-mile-an-hour slider for strike 1. Aaron Judge has 43 career multi-home run games. Lines that down the right field line. Foul. It's 0-2.
Well, the Yankees saw Alvarado in Sacramento. I think.
And a cool move here from Bellinger, getting to that fan, giving him a celebratory fist bump after the 3-run homer.
I think Alvarado is the one that gave up Dominguez's grand slam in Sacramento.
Two-run homer from Judge, 3-run homer from Bellinger, a 3-run triple from Chisholm, a solo shot from Jazz. 10-1 Yankees. Judge holds up. It's 2-2. And that time Judge went. That'll end the inning. But not before Cody Bellinger smashes a 3-run shot to right. A lot of celebrating in that dugout and these stands today. It's 10-1 Yanks. Around the majors, how about Shohei? Fastest pitch of his career yesterday. Kyle Tucker dialed in his last 11 games, and Alejandro Kirk has been just mashing for the last 39 games, a .360 batting average. We will see him tomorrow. It's the Yankees as JT Brubaker comes on. Yankees' first double-digit game scoring since June 10th at Kansas City. We have a 10-1 lead in this rubber game of this 3-game set. J.J. Bleday pinch hitting here. Interesting spot having him pinch hit for the shortstop Wilson. Three and one. And Brubaker issues a walk.
Yeah, that was a good pitch.
Yeah.
Down in the zone. I caught a lot of the plate.
And Aaron Boone saying, come on, let's go.
Good fastball at 92.
Oh, yeah.
It's 10-1. Come on, Jonathan.
Here's Brent Rooker. By the way, you know what Rooker's guilty pleasure is?
Fribbles.
Soft serve ice cream in the visiting clubhouse in Seattle.
Seattle's got some good ice cream.
Yeah. By the way, you saw how we still have people reaching out to us about the Fribbles.
I know. Got pictures. People are showing me pictures.
Mark Jackson, former coach, outstanding broadcaster, big Yankees fan. He reached out right away. Big Friendlies guy. Hi, Mark. That's turned on and ripped into the left field corner. Bleday will park it at third, and into second with a double is Rooker. So second and third, nobody out.
You just name dropping there?
No, I just thought the audience would get a kick out of it.
It was a good time for Brubaker to give the Yankees a couple innings. Get some confidence back, be a big piece out of that Yankee bullpen.
Here's Kurtz. Two on, nobody out. The rookie Kurtz, 1-1 count. That's another nice stop from Ben Rice on about a 55-footer.
Yeah, a slider down the dirt, and that ball goes the other direction. And you watch how this ball goes the other direction, shoots towards the right-handed batter's box once it hits the dirt. Real nice job.
Lined off the glove of Volpe, going to scamper after it. Toss to third, not in time. It's going to be an RBI single for Nick Kurtz. 10-2 game with first and third, nobody out.
I don't know what Rooker was doing at second, and it's a ball hit pretty hard. The short hop just gets off the edge of Volpe's glove, and he's going to go to third. And Rooker took his time going to third.
I think he was trying to make sure Volpe wasn't going to catch it on a fly.
It could be. He was like jogging down the third. Volpe, good heads up, just the throw was off.
Yeah, you're right. Once he decided to go, he needed to run faster to third. I think the initial move back was him wanting to make sure it was not caught on the fly.
That's another good stop.
I mean, yeah, he just looks the part, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's been really good behind the plate.
That clipped him. Yeah, things getting a little dicey here for Brubaker. Muncy's on now, and you got bases loaded. Nobody out, one run already in, and Matt Blake's going to have a conversation.
Well, whenever you come into a 10-1 game, it's always tough because you want to try to skate through this to try not to give up any runs, because you know you're going to have an aggressive offense on the other side. But at the same time, you want to try to dial in your stuff. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of opportunities. There's what is this, his second appearance, third appearance out of the bullpen. They want to try to get a couple innings out of him. He settle down, try to command that fastball a little bit better.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So bases loaded. Nobody out. As Soderstrom fouls it away. Now, Jeff, you were mostly used to pitching in high leverage situations, but when you would come in a 10-1 type game, how much harder as a reliever was it to dial it in?
You hated it because, you know, you're not used to, it's not a stressful situation.
That is chopped to first. That's a foul ball.
The game's not on the line. So you're just trying to eat up an inning or two, and you wind up giving up a few runs because you're just not locked in. When it's a close game, 3-run or less, guys on base, you're locked in a lot easier. The adrenaline flows a little bit more. You try to stay out of these games. You come down with like an illness or something out in that bullpen when the phone rings.
The 0-2. Of course, for a guy like JT Brubaker, this is his shot, right?
Yes.
Just try and,
you know, you try to eat up a couple innings, something, you know, you go in, you look at the upcoming road trip, there's no off day, so you have 4 games against the Blue Jays and you come right back home.
1-2. Foul back. Jonathan Loaizaga back up in the Yankee pen. Just missed. Good frame job there from Rice. 2-2.
I mean, we had situations like this. You got to remember, we only had 10 or 11 pitchers on staff. And there were some years that we were carrying 10.
Right. The 2-2. Tip foul. Another nice stop by Rice. Now bases loaded. Nobody out. 3-2 pitch coming.
When you struggle a little bit out on the mound, you haven't had a lot of opportunities. You're just coming back. You start aiming the ball a little bit. That slider that he's spiking in the dirt, the changeup down, you're not really letting it go.
The 3-2 is high, ball 4. That'll walk in a run, and that also might end the day for Brubaker. (10-3) game now. You have walk, double, single, hit by pitch, walk.
Now he's aiming the ball. It's like throwing darts. Instead of just letting it go, trust your stuff, relax a little bit. Really tough to relax when you've gotten yourself into a jam.
Here's Urias. Swinging at the first pitch and fouls it back. So Brubaker getting at least one more batter here.
And these situations are tough as well because you have the pitch clock. You know, there's no time to step off and try to gather your thoughts and say, okay, I'm going to take a breather here. You have 18 seconds with men on base.
Grounded hard. Oh, what a stop by Chisholm. Across the diamond, dug up by Goldschmidt for the out. Beautiful play from the Yankee infielder. Run will score. It's a 10-4 game.
Outstanding play. He's played some really good defense in this game. Jazz has. That's saving some runs. That's getting down the left field line. It might have cleared the bases there. Gets that short hop from deep third. A nice pick over at first by Goldschmidt as well.
Goldschmidt, who leads the majors and scoops at first.
Now, this is a great play. He's got to go back to catch this hop. That gets down the line. Like I said, that's probably clearing the bases and a really good strong throw and a nice pick at first.
There's a strike with a sinker on the corner. 3 runs already in the inning for the A's. Seeing Oakland almost slipped out there. Not to tell him myself. Did he go? He did not. Yeah, the crowd is upset. It looked like McIver gave quite the wave there. Yeah, Jazz is mystified. And I understand why. I mean, it looked like a pretty convicted check swing. No debate about that one. 2-2. Brubaker up to 28 pitches. Trying to trudge his way through this sixth. Nice stop by Rice. Skips away, and anchoring at third is Muncy. Count is full.
Yeah, another great block. There's another spike slider. Nice job by Brubaker getting back there and covering the plate. He's just not trusting throwing that slider. He's aiming it, and sometimes that's why you spike it in the dirt.
Brubaker trying to find his way through this. 3-2 coming to McIver. Tips it foul. He's had a really hard time putting away hitters that he does get to 2 strikes during this inning.
Well, he gets predictable as well. When you're not throwing off speed over, you can't throw that slider for a strike or his changeup. Hitters are just sitting fastball, and when they see it, even though that was probably ball 4 that McIver swung at.
McIver homered his last time up. Another 3-2 is in the dirt, ball 4. That'll reload the bases. And now that is going to end the afternoon for Brubaker. 31 pitches, 3 walks, 2 hits, a hit batter yielded in the inning. 3 runs already in for the A's. And now Aaron Boone will turn to Jonathan Loaisiga, trying to limit any further damage. By Untuck It. Find the perfect fit today at untuckit.com or more than 80 stores worldwide. By your local tri-state Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com. And buy the New York Lottery. Get out there and play. A summer Sunday in New York City. And things have gotten a little sticky here in this 6th inning now for the Yanks. 3 runs already in for the A's. Jonathan Loaisiga's first appearance back since illness. Missed a couple of days. Yankees with a 10-4 lead. Bases loaded, 1 out. Here is Denzel Clark. And he taps it weakly to left side. Loaisiga's going to let it go foul. Smart move there from Loaisiga.
Yeah, real smart move as well. There was no way you were getting Clark at first. You weren't getting Muncie at home.
Hayes with 3 walks, hit batter, 2 hits off of Brubaker. As Clark took a while to get back to the batter's box there. Loizaga trying to get out of this jam. The 0-1. Is that tipped? It was 0-2.
Good fastball, 97 miles an hour, riding in on Clark. Couldn't hold up.
And look, yep, sure did. 0-2 now on Denzel Clark with the bases loaded, 1 out. Pitch from Loizaga. Broken bat, slow roller, tough play here. Goldschmidt makes it, tossing to Loizaga. A run does score. It's a 10-5 game, 2 down.
Well, good pitch and nice play by Loizaga. Look at him hustle over to try to get that bag. He knows he's not going to be able to pick up the ball. He sees that Goldschmidt has it, little toss. Finds the bag. Good job.
9th batter of the inning. It's Butler. 2nd and 3rd, 2 out. Really big at bat right here. Significantly different. You get out of this inning with the 5-run lead versus, say, a 3-run lead. 4 runs already in here in the 6th for the A's. One and one.
And you also want to stay away from Bleday and Rooker coming after with men on base.
Another nice stop by Ben Rice, who has had a bevy of them today. And just his 3rd start behind the plate. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2 on a 98-mile-an-hour sinker.
Yeah, a lot of movement on that fastball away. You know, Rice has been hit in both feet. He's getting pelted by baseballs in the dirt.
A 2-2 from Loizaga. He got him. Looking at a changeup. Beautiful pitch call. And Loizaga escapes the jam.
Experience a fully electric Audi vehicle at your local tri-state Audi dealer today. 1979 All-Star game in Seattle. Dave Parker throws out Jim Rice at third. You don't run on Dave Parker's arm. It's probably the best arm in baseball. And then he gets Brian Downing at home. That's Gary Carter right there with the tag. Sad news as of yesterday. The passing of Dave Parker. Got into the Hall of Fame. Did not get a chance to see his induction. Passes away at the age of 74. I tell you what, watching him, Ryan, I was a big Pirate fan. I grew up in Baltimore. I absolutely loved those guys. I remember the 79 World Series. What an amazing athlete he was, and a right fielder.
Maybe the best National League player in the 70s. An MVP, a 7-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champ, 3 Gold Gloves, 2 batting titles. I mean, it's a shame you mentioned the Hall of Fame thing, because he talked about how he's been practicing his speech for 30 years and being inducted this summer. Rice thought he had ball 4. The Hall of Fame ceremony 4 weeks from today. Now, I understand why Ben Rice thought he had ball 4. So 3-1. Big rip and a miss there. A 99 from Alvarado. 3-2. Rice able to dance out of the way at ball 4. So he is on for the 3rd time today. As Tim Hill gets going in the Yankee pen. The Yankees had a 10-1 lead, but JT Brubaker really struggled in the 6th. Yielded 4 runs. So the lead now 10-5. Obviously just changes some of the bullpen equation perhaps as the Yankees string together the final few innings. Looking to add more runs here. Here's Chisholm. Good swing, fouled straight back. Jazz, a solo homer that started the scoring. A 3-run triple the next inning. A walk as well. 42,166 fans here at Yankee Stadium today. 3 big crowds this weekend. 0-2. The 1-2. And Jazz. Ooh. Went around, but that is not the primary concern. The primary concern is he okay? Oh, that is not good.
No, he tried to hold up. Watch him try to hold up on this check swing and just hung on to that bat. Usually you'll see hitters let go of that bottom hand, or at least one of the hands. He could not get that hand off the bat.
Just kind of leaving the arm up there. mean, Jazz has been just fantastic since he has come off the IL last 20-plus games. After that oblique strain. We saw it again today. You just hope he is okay after whatever he did to that maybe wrist or arm on the check swing.
Yeah, he's played outstanding defense in this game as well. There you see, watch that bottom hand. It just stays on the bat.
Just kind of left his arm up there limp while yelling in pain. You mentioned it, Jeff. His defense today has been fantastic over at third. Popped up. McIver can't make the play. It's a foul ball. But it is another drop pop-up from the A's, who have struggled defensively all season, and they certainly have today.
Well, and the third baseman, Muncy, didn't give him any kind of help whatsoever. I mean, he stayed back and just jogged in. And yes, this is the catcher's ball, but you know, with at least the third baseman come in and give him a little help. You know, this is what happens when you have a poor defensive team like the A's are. They're, I think, like 26th, 27th in baseball in errors made. You're not going to win games. You're going to see games like this, and you could go back. The A's are going to go back to see, look at this game, if this stays the same, and say, if you look at mistakes in the right field, even the ball that Bellinger hit over Butler's head probably should have been caught. You had miscue in left field.
And the Yankees have capitalized
and the Yankees
on those
play
miscues.
good defense.
Yeah, they have taken advantage today on those miscues. And Goldschmidt turns on that, rips it foul. By the way, for Chisholm, 23 games off the IL, a .321 batting average, 6 homers, and .990 OPS. (3-2). Again, rip foul.
I mean, you're on the mound and you're making your pitch. You think you have an out, and the next thing you know, it's a dropped or a missed play. It takes a lot out of you on the mound. The next thing you know, it gives a hitter a second life. You're giving teams like the Yankees 4 or 5 outs an inning. You're not going to beat them.
And Goldschmidt take advantage after the E2 to resuscitate his at bat. A 3-2. Lofted into shallow left. Soderstrom makes the catch, 2 away. Cooking up something special with Hexclad. Join the hybrid revolution at hexclad.com. Down on the farm, George Lombard Jr., the Yankees' #1 prospect, has hit safely in 9 of his last 12 games at AA. Spencer Jones, #2 prospect, promoted to AAA, has 2 homers in 3 games. And then you see Cam Schiller, who has a 1.69 ERA in 4 starts. Dominguez hits that hard and into right field, a base hit.
Well, first pitch fastball, or actually a little slider, stayed out over the middle of the plate. Just out of the reach of Urias.
Marcotte is going to go back to the pen with 2 on, 2 out. It's a 1. Career stats, almost 2,000 hits. Spent a long time with the Dodgers, a few years with the Yankees, a couple with the White Sox, and finished his career with the A's. Also 444 stolen bases. Here is Tyler Ferguson, whose ERA is just massive over his last 8 games. Here's Anthony Volpe. Single scored as a stolen base. Yankees trying to tack on a little more after the A's put up 4 in the 6th. 10-5 Yankee lead. Certainly concern around Jazz Chisholm, who been the star of the game and seemed to hurt something either on his wrist or hand in his last at bat on a check swing. Went right down into the tunnel. Make sure you're locked into the post game for any details we get from Meredith and Aaron Boone. 3-0 on Volpe. Inside, ball 4, and Volpe works the walk.
Ferguson has a strange windup in his delivery and the way he keeps that ball in the glove. You know, when you're drifting to the plate and that ball's still in the glove, you're not going to have a hard time throwing strikes. Probably one of the reasons why that ERA is through the roof.
Here's Peraza, bases loaded, 2 out. And there's a strike, 0-1. Oh, and 2 now on Peraza. Peraza went, and that will end the thread. Through 6 innings, a 10-5 Yankees lead on a Sunday here on Yes. Gotham Sports app. Check out the latest episode of The Stadium and get a behind-the-scenes look at the meticulous operations it takes to keep the big ballpark in the Bronx safe. Watch The Stadium streaming now on the Gotham Sports app. Well, this is good news for the Yankees. Jazz Chisholm back out in the dugout, kind of explaining what he did to his hand, how it felt, and then not only is he back in the dugout, He puts the glasses on. He's back in the field. He's still in this game.
Yeah, I was watching him throw because it was his right hand, and looks like it's okay. And that's good news.
Certainly gave Yankee fans a scare. Tim Hill, the new Yankee reliever. You know, it's interesting, Jeff, you notice little nuances, and especially when you're at the ballpark. The one area I can see the difference with Ben Rice compared to the other catchers, he just takes longer to get his equipment on between innings. If he's been involved offensively or on deck or on the bases.
A little bit of a rain delay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else, high marks.
A little slow with the gear putting on.
Bleday hitting in the 2 spot. He pinch hit for the shortstop Wilson.
It's going to be one of those issues that it's like a pit crew. You're going to have about 3 or 4 guys trying to get the equipment on Rice so he gets out there quicker.
Well, there's just been a lot of foul balls, long at bats, walks. Grounded to first. Goldschmidt makes the play. 1 away. You never got your soft serve vanilla.
No, I didn't.
And
They
now
say
the
it's
and
right
now the
by
press,
the coffee maker, so that's probably why I don't see it.
it's in Shep's place, which is our press box dining, and now it's closed, and you've missed your opportunity.
I'm not a coffee guy, so I don't drink coffee, so I usually don't frequent that section of the media dining, which is outstanding.
You know, I don't drink coffee either.
But you somehow find it. You sniff it out.
I know where the ice cream is. Do you do anything caffeinated?
Like a tea, iced tea.
Okay.
I'm not a soda guy.
All right. Two and one. Rooker has doubled and scored. 1 for 3 on the day. Game started by Marcus Stroman. He was really good through 5 innings in his return. Allowed just 1 run, worked very efficiently. 6th inning was a struggle for JT Brubaker, who yielded 4 runs. And Jonathan Loaisiga came on to get the final couple outs. Now here Tim Hill working in the 7th.
Oh, if anything, the Yankees would love to stay away from Weaver and Devin Williams out there. Keep it at a 10-5 game or add on in that 10 runs.
Off of Hill or the mound, fielded by Peraza. They get the out. 2 down.
Yeah, might have gotten Hill's shoe.
Yeah, it caromed off of something.
They're going to go out and look him. I think it hit him in the shoe. Or like he got the glove down and it got under the glove and hit him in the foot.
Yeah, just off the toe. They just scored it 4-3, not 1-4-3.
I would say 1-4-3. If it hits him in the toe, it's 1-4-3.
Yeah. And 1-4-3 is I love you, so it's just kind of fun when that happens. Oh, they've changed it. There we go. 1-4-3. And we love you too. Here's Nick Kurtz. One for 3 with an RBI single. And takes a ball, 1-0. Shoots that into left. Dominguez ranges over and makes a nice running catch to end the top of the 7th. To the bottom of the 7th we go. Yankees leading 10-5. We keep things here for God Bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you rise and remove your caps? And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate as the New York Yankees welcome an honored military guest. United States Army Private 93-year-old Fred Casamasino from Brooklyn, who served in the Korean War. The Yankees say thank you, Fred, for your sacrifice and for your service to our nation. And now, please join us in singing along with Robert Merrill's rendition of God Bless America.
Talk about a beautiful cut in there. John Flaherty just delivered on so many levels. Taking a look at the game summary. 5-5-2 for the A's. 10-8-0 for the Yankees. Stroman, as Flash was talking about, really good, and the Yankee bats have indeed delivered. Here's Trent Grisham taking a ball against Ferguson. A matchup to look forward to in this inning, Jeff. Tyler Ferguson and Aaron Judge, who's due to hit third in the inning. Obviously, we always look forward to watching Aaron Judge hit.
And why is that, Ryan?
Well, because he's awesome. But it's particularly interesting in this matchup because Ferguson is from Fresno. And he has said for a while the one thing he really wants to do in the big leagues is strike out former Fresno State Bulldog Aaron Judge. He's faced the Yankees a couple of times now, but has not yet faced Judge. But he should get to do it this inning. 3-0 on Grisham. On Grisham, who is 0 for 3 with a walk, a couple of runs scored. The 3-2 popped up, foul ground, left side, and onto the dugout. Quite the carom. Support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org. Ian Hamilton getting warmed up in the pen. There's a ball, and Grisham works his second walk of the day. StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud. Here are all three Yankee home runs. Chisholm and Bellinger to right, Judge to left. Here's Bellinger, who is a triple away from the cycle. There have been 15 cycles in the Yankees history. The last was Melky Cabrera on August 2nd, 2009 at the White Sox. A Yankee has been a triple shy of the cycle 895 times.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that many.
Yeah, the triple is the key. Jazz has the triple and the homer. Swing, fouled it straight back. Yankees have the 5th longest active drought since their last cycle. The longest, want to take a guess? What team's waiting the longest?
Seattle.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
George Brett has their last cycle in 1990. Grounder to first, nice play by Kurtz. Tosses to second for 1, back to first, not in time. 1 away. And now we will see that matchup between Ferguson and Judge. A 31-year-old from Fresno, California, facing Aaron Judge for the first time, former Fresno State Bulldog. Gets a swing and a miss at 96, 0-1.
Good two-seamer right there from Ferguson.
Ferguson, 31 years old, came up last year in his 9th season in pro ball. One and one on Judge.
There's a lot more players nowadays that express their feelings out in public more than they used to, like this. Oh, I want to strike out Judge. You usually don't ever say that in public. You kind of keep it within. If it happens, it happens.
Maybe he felt comfortable saying it too because just of the Fresno connection.
If you say it, you better back it up.
Well, he has Judge 1 and 2. We'll see. It's the 1-2. Judge fouls it off to stay alive. Another 1-2 coming from Ferguson to Judge. Judge tops that foul. Judge a walk and a 2-run homer today. His 29th of the year. Now tied with Shohei Ohtani for the second most homers in the bigs. And Cal Raleigh with more. 2-2. The 2-2 inside, and the count is now full on Aaron Judge. So who will win the Battle of Fresno? Ferguson or Judge?
I say he's going to come slider here.
A 3-2 went slider, and it gets smacked down the left field line, foul.
Well, Judge was just out in front of it, and that was a hanger.
So will he throw another one?
That was a bad slider. You're going to have to get this away if you're going to get him to swing and miss. I'm going to say yes.
Another 3-2 coming. And Judge absolutely hammers that deep left center field, and it is gone. Aaron Judge, the king of Fresno. His 30th home run of the season. And the Yankee lead is 12-5.
That's why you don't talk in public. You don't make a comment that I want to strike out Judge in public. You keep it to yourself. Well, now he can say, I just got taken deep by Aaron Judge.
Wasn't exactly the strikeout he was hoping.
No.
44th career multi-home run game for Aaron Judge. Third most in Yankees history. So Judge, who had been hitless in the series with a couple of launched home runs today, and now has 30 on the season. Tipped into the glove, held on to. 2 down.
Well, should have thrown him the slider. He throws a fastball out over the middle of the plate. You might as well watch that one. 426 feet later in the A's bullpen. Number 30 on the year. He crushed that baseball.
Here's Chisholm. Showing no ill effects from that awkward check swing his last time up.
Well, there's that four-seam fastball. That was a meatball.
Wanted the strikeout. Instead, he got 436 feet of fun. Looped into left and running to make the catch is Soderstrom to end the inning, but not before Aaron Judge takes Ferguson deep. 12-5 Yanks. North of the border to kick off the three-game set with the Blue Jays. Coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. And don't forget, the Subway Series returns next weekend, and all three games are on Yes. Coverage begins Friday, July 4th at 2 p.m. on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Well, JC Escara, fresh off the birth of his son, behind the plate, back from the paternity list, and Ian Hamilton is on the mound. Interesting moment last night with Ian Hamilton.
Yes.
And Jacob Wilson. It would seem like, just a benign ground ball to end the inning. And Ian Hamilton got a little worked up. Had some words for Wilson and Meredith. I know you got a chance to chat with Ian Hamilton about that after the game yesterday.
Well, Ryan, it was kind of an odd occurrence because you didn't see anything else go on between the two of them, and there's no other history there. I made sure of that after the game. He said simply, I was just having a bad inning. I got a little emotional. I got the ball. I kind of looked at him, and then I told him to run. He wasn't running out of the box. It upset me at that point in time because of the inning that I was having. That was pretty much it. Now, Wilson was asked about it in the A's clubhouse, and he wasn't taking any kind of bait, just saying, hey, it's baseball. Sometimes things get hot. It's all part of the game. No hard feelings. As players, sometimes you get frustrated. No big deal. I understand that.
Nice move by the rookie not to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Hamilton, a hit and a walk, a two-out walk, a little frustrated.
Just blown off.
Tells the kid, run. Come on, Rook. Here it is, a little comebacker. He's going to take his time. Run, Rook. Let's go.
Man, Wilson's like, wait, what? What happened? Why? What was that about? Aaron Judge comes in and says, hey, man, that's just Ian. Don't worry about it. What I loved about that interview with Meredith, though, was that Ian Hamilton was honest about it. He just said,
I did see it, too.
Yeah, I was frustrated with myself. I was mad. Just got a little heated for basically nothing that Wilson had done.
Get fired up.
Yeah.
Fire the team up a little bit.
And a walk here from Hamilton. There have been a lot of free passes issued in this game. Yankee pitching has issued 6 walks and a hit batter.
14 walks total between the two teams.
Yeah, there you go. And 3 hit by pitches between the two teams. Chisholm, foul ground, and able to make the catch. He's doing it all today. Nice play from Jazz Chisholm Jr.
Well, I thought I heard somebody say no, 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 but nice job by Jazz getting over to the net, watching it the whole way. That's a pretty good catch there. He played outstanding at third today. You got to deal with the tarp and then that padding shooting out. That's a good job.
He's made 3 or 4 really good plays over there today. Plus had a huge day at the plate. 0-1 on Urias. Two and 1 on Urias. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Judge a couple of homers. Bellinger a 3-run shot. Chisholm a solo shot and a 3-run triple. And the Yankees have put up a 12 spot, their most runs since May 24th at Colorado when they put up 13. Strike 3. Got him looking. The upcoming schedule brought to you by your local Tri-State Buick dealers. 4 in Toronto beginning tomorrow night. Then the Yankees come home for 3 at Citi Field. All those games on Yes, and then an off day before hosting the Mariners and the Cubs.
4 straight teams, all of them in the playoff hunt, whether it's the wild card or the division.
Here's McIver, who has walked twice and homered. Swings and misses, 0-1. Baltimore has beaten the Rays today, so the Yankees can gain a game in the AL East if they hang on to this win. Push their lead to 1.5 games. One and 2.
You have the Cubs leading the division in the Central. You have the Mariners and the Blue Jays currently have a spot right now in the wild card. Also the Mets. I think they're a half game behind the Phillies right now in that NL East.
Swing and a miss. Hamilton got him. That'll do it for the top of the 8th. Yankees leading 12-5. Yankee answer.
This guy is the first hitter I've ever faced in the major leagues.
Really?
Yes.
Steve Sachs. How about that? Steve Alto Sachs, as Chris Berman used to say.
Does some work for the A's. Does some radio.
Oh, yeah. Some nice highlights there. Michael Kelly, the new A's reliever. You were 3 for 3 on this series.
Well, I usually don't mess around with the ones that just don't feel like using my brain for that. I'm an 8-10 guy.
It was still very impressive, though. It was Goldschmidt. Fly ball, shallow center, Blade in, 1 away. A little Steve Sachs bio. Oh, yeah. He's from where the A's are currently playing. Sacramento. The Rookie of the Year in 1982. A 2-time champion with the Dodgers. A 5-time All-Star. Replaced Willie Randolph as the Yankee second baseman.
I faced him when he was a White Sox. I saw him out in Sacramento. He was doing radio then.
He ended up with the yips at one point.
He did.
Throwing the baseball like we saw with Knobloch. Loop to the left side of the infield. Muncy. Now, do you remember what Steve Sachs did against you on April 16th, 1992?
I think he grounded out somewhere. I don't remember where, though.
Grounded out to third. Do you remember who the third baseman was?
For the Mariners. It was probably Edgar Martinez.
It was Edgar Martinez. Very nicely done, Jeff. It's like Weave getting ready to go. Couldn't see who it was for a minute there, the way he was bending down.
Yeah, a little surprised they're going to pitch him. 12-5 game.
Well, let's think about it. They used Hill. They used Brubaker. They used Loizaga. And Volpe is down on strikes. To the 9th we go. Yankees leading 12-5. It's 12-5. The Yankees lead it over the A's, top of the 9th. Congratulations to Max Fried on being voted the Montefiore Einstein Player of the Week. Wednesday against the Reds, absolutely dealt as he has all season. 7 innings of 1-run ball, struck out 7. So congrats to Max Fried. Meanwhile, here at the stadium, Anthony Volpe was just ejected. Luke Weaver coming on here to finish this game off with a 12-5 lead. Peraza takes over at short. And LeMahieu now in at second after Volpe gets ejected following that strikeout to end the eighth. His first career ejection.
Yep.
Let's see. So he was upset about the check swing. And did he get tossed just for that?
Yeah, he tossed his helmet. Who cares? Probably just said, hey, did I go? And well, hands out. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, Chad Fairchild, the first base umpire, ejected him, but he ejected him just the way he tossed his helmet there?
Well, you can see him walk up the line a little bit. Maybe he said something and then hands go out. So you think I really went there? Didn't seem like there was a reason to get tossed.
Yeah.
Might as well get your first one out of the way, though.
Interesting. Also interesting using Luke Weaver in this spot,
Yes.
as you talked about. It's a 7-run game. Yankees have a fairly well-rested bullpen. Down the right side and foul ground. Goldschmidt tracks it nicely for the out. Hey, fans, after the final out, get highlights, analysis, clubhouse interviews, and hear from the manager, plus a look at the series with the Blue Jays. All coming up on the WB Mason Yankees postgame. You know, you never know, too, if could Weaver have said, hey, you know, I feel like I could use an inning of work.
These are the type of games, like I mentioned, you want, as a short guy, short reliever, you want to stay away from sometimes.
Now, you could have thought, hey, this is a spot for Leiter. But they're giving him a 5th straight day off after he threw 55 pitches over 2 days in Cincinnati. Broken bat roller to short. Peraza on the backhand. Beautifully done as Goldschmidt digs it up. Outstanding play by Oswald Peraza.
Well, Peraza playing up the middle, goes to his right with the backhand. Throws on the run. Real strong arm. Another great pick over there first by Goldschmidt.
What a smooth play by Peraza. And just got on another pick from Goldschmidt. So here's Blade. A's down to their final out. And the man who leads the majors in scoops over there has quite a few more today. Yankees looking to lock down a series win. 1 out away from doing so. A lot of good stories for them today. Marcus Stroman's first start back was really good through 5. Aaron Judge, a couple of homers. Jazz Chisholm, 4 ribbies, a homer and a triple. Cody Bellinger, 3 hits, including a 3-run homer. And the most runs the Yankees have scored in over a month. The 3-0. In there for a strike. 3-1. The 3-1. There's strike 2. Count is full. Crowd to its feet. The 3-2. He got him. Ball game. Weaver fans playing, and the Yankees take the rubber game of this 3-game set. 12-5 the final.
The bats showed up. A really nice job. Big days, like you mentioned, Ryan, from Bellinger, Judge, and Chisholm. All homer. Judge having 2 home runs. Was hitless in the first 2 games. Well, not today. And a real nice job by Marcus Stroman, giving him 5 solid innings. Really didn't know how much he was going to go. Very efficient with the pitches. A good 2-seamer, good slider. And Luis Severino struggles again against his former team. Nice win, nice series win for the Yankees.